It's time to celebrate. Dance to the music. Three Dog Night, 1975. But it's today, we're celebrating today. Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to the show. Hey, we're celebrating just like 1975 today with finally one of the big bills, which has been drowning in congressional bureaucracy, finally been passed. And for aviation enthusiasts, it's a pretty big deal that this thing has been stable. The airports package has been stable throughout the whole process. The House last Friday passed the $550 million bill, and that's the new money out of $1.2 trillion spending package called the Infrastructure and Investment Act. The Senate did a procedural thing way back in the summer, so all it has to do now is go to the president for signature. New federal investment for core infrastructure, including airports, roads, bridges, and broadband. But hey, I'm here only to talk about the aviation stuff. With all the negotiations going on, it's hard to figure out exactly what has stuck. And there are lots of little pockets, but hey, look, 15 additional billion for airport infrastructure with a formula for matching, local matching. That's pretty standard in airport infrastructure grants, along with another $5 billion for new airport terminal programs with a matching formula again. And that'll be run by DOT. That's kind of interesting. It's very specific. It'll be run by DOT and not FAA. Just wonder what that's all about. And then the coup de grace, $5 billion for the FAA for the facilities and equipment account, and that's the capital account where you buy stuff. So I know the planning has been done mostly by AJW2 and the technical operations. That's ATC Facilities and Engineering Services. So I expect it to go towards the huge backlog for FAA facilities, for rehab, new facilities, and to clean that stuff up. Good for people that are heading back to work. The way that AAAE CEO Todd Hopte said, I think he said it best. Nothing is easy in Washington, but concrete knows no political affiliation, so that's a win. But we're going to talk about that political affiliation related to concrete here in just a sec. Hey, everybody loves 5G, don't they? Everybody loves 5G, except the FAA and Canada. Well, the Canadian Aviation Authority. Hey, last year, major telecoms paid $78 billion in an FCC auction, the Federal Communications Commission auction, to get a thin slice of radio spectrum to carry 5G signals. These signals are in the C-band, and they're in the high 3s gigahertz in the C-band, and I don't want to get technical here, because I don't really know what I'm talking about in that. But the FAA in Canada and a bunch of aviation groups are now continually looking at these things, and they have a fear that the cell phone signals could interfere with avionics, specifically radar altimeters. And those radar altimeters are fundamental to the operation of instrument landing systems, as they provide the primary altitude information for decision height and the most precise of our instrument landing system capabilities. They also provide the proximity warning for ground, so it is a huge safety issue. Radio altimeters, however, do operate in the low 4 gigahertz range, so they don't exactly overlap. So what's the problem? Doesn't look close to me. Not an engineer though, let's get that straight. And that actually is the view of the FCC. They don't overlap, so this is not an issue. The FCC approved the use of the spectrum for 5G, stating that a well-designed radio altimeter should not receive any significant interference, much less any harmful interference. Seems like after spending, or even before spending, $78 billion, that would come with some pretty serious guarantees. But the FAA remains deeply concerned, and they plan to issue a special airworthiness directive concerning the rollout of 5G, particularly in 46 major metropolitan areas, and those are the 46 airports we've all heard about, the top 46 in the country. The directive is expected to limit the use of automated systems, which would use that radar altimeter for automation, because of the potential interference. So it's just, somebody's going to have to watch the gauge instead of worrying about automated alarms. Okay, that seems like a pretty straightforward solution. Maybe that gets better later. But Canada has taken the opposite approach of the FAA, which the FAA is allowing the 5G rollout, probably better for society as a whole. Canada is concerned about the potential interference, but they put restrictions on putting 5G transmitters near major airports. So they're doing just the opposite. You can use that radar altimeter, but your phone, it's not going to work as well as it probably could at probably one of the most important places for it to work really well to find out that your gate changed. Just saying. Obviously, the major telecoms are protesting the move. I don't know what the protest is about. Seems like an engineering analysis to find out if this is really an issue or not. Somebody ought to figure that out, especially when you spend $78 billion. The FAA cannot get off the ground with remote towers. See what I did there? Like get off the ground, like take off. Okay, yeah, okay. Maybe, hopefully you got that. Anyway, it is hard not to see where the FAA is headed. In lieu of a concerted effort to deliver high-tech, low-cost, remote tower capability, kind of what's being happening around the world, the FAA is launching a nationwide solicitation to select a new design for brick-and-mortar air traffic control towers that can be built and operated sustainably. If you're pouring concrete and making a big thing, I mean, I'm not sure how that is incredibly sustained. But anyway, I'm sure there's going to be some fantastic ideas. The FAA has more than 100 aging control towers across the country that will need to be replaced, and that's an ongoing cycle. That's part of the big backlog. And the goal is to develop a standardized design that the towers will meet operational and cost requirements and then maximize energy efficiency and be very, very green. And of course, they need to be constructed rapidly because they're going to get this influx of infrastructure money, and they're going to need to burn it while it's available. So, but how about this? A remote tower from Indra. Indra is the global leader in air transportation and defense solutions, and they were awarded a contract to deliver a remote tower to Hungaro Control to remotely manage the Budapest International Airport. Hey, not the biggest airport in the world, but a big one and a used one. And this makes Budapest the first European airport and the largest airport in the world to be controlled remotely. So Hungaro Control has a lot of trust in Indra. They've used their remote tower solution as a contingency measure since 2015. What a brilliant idea. Use it as a backup, learn all about it, put it in operation. The solution, they believe, provides a better visual overview than a conventional tower, along with other air traffic control safety features that aren't resident with the human eye. Wow! So it would be better and probably cheaper. Okay. Seems like the FAA is missing a huge opportunity to advance, but these remote tower systems are not concrete. Concrete is the one that doesn't have a political affiliation, but maybe software, cameras, diodes, computers actually do have a political affiliation. That must be the problem. Last week marked the first drone detection trials at the FAA's Tech Center in Atlantic City. 6 drone detection tests were conducted using new technologies to protect America's airports from drone hazards. This is big, and this is moving forward. This is fantastic news. Although the threat has been known for many years, we're finally getting to the stage where we're making some progress, even though we're a long way from implementation here. But the issue's been known, the challenge has been known, and the FAA has not allowed airports to invest in counter-drone technologies or drone detection technologies until they conduct a series of non-interference tests. So the technical center team is led by a gentleman named Jim Patterson, a long-term researcher up there, fantastic reputation. He is evaluating dozens of technologies first for detection, and then later on they'll do it for mitigation. 2 big things. Can't mitigate if you don't know. You got to know first, and that's a big difference than how you mitigate. Lots of options on both sides of the equation here. So after the testing is complete in Atlantic City, the testing will head out to 5 more airports with similar detection and mitigation testing you know, like with test cards about the various ConOps and scenarios that they'll run so they can evaluate these things. But as we've always said, if you've seen one airport, you've seen one airport, and so they're trying to get a very diverse set of airports to evaluate to make sure that this non-interference testing really covers a lot of ground. Then they expect to, when that testing is complete, to put out a rule for how systems can be used. And the FAA won't commit to a timeline, but 18 months of testing plus a year for a rule puts that probably about 3 years away at the earliest. Maybe there's some acceleration, but let's call it 3 years. It's a long time to wait when its problem is known, but we did know that nothing really happened in Gatwick, but these systems would provide proof. So maybe there's a way to figure something out to make that happen a little bit earlier. But here in the US, we have 1,400 drone sightings so far this year near airports. That seems like an urgent issue, not one that should take 3 more years. It only takes one of those drones to have a real problem. But I'll say, let's make lemonade out of this. 3 years is a long time to wait, but it provides a solid time frame to prepare for the business cases, to be able to buy these things, have technology ready to fly off the shelves when people are ready to buy those things, and procedures down so that when it's bolted in and plugged in, these systems can actually be used instantly. Who isn't going to want a counter drone solution? Nobody isn't going to want that. Everybody's going to want one. So, industry, be ready. COVID's made a big mess about everything, especially schedules and award ceremonies in Washington. They have not been immune to getting things rescheduled. So, just recently, the National Aeronautics Association awarded the 106th Collier Trophy. And that is a real special event if you haven't been, and so plan on it in the future when we all get together again. The annual award is for the greatest achievement in aeronautics or astronautics in America. It's always in respect to improving the performance, efficiency, safety of the airspace or space vehicles, and of which have been thoroughly demonstrated by actual use during the preceding year. So it's something real. That's the thing. It's something real happened, and some absolutely fantastic names are on that list. It's worth going to the NAA website and checking out Collier Trophy winners. But this year, the 2020 just awarded to get together right now, Garmin takes home the Collier Trophy for its Autoland system, and this system is absolutely remarkable. Autoland is an emergency-only capability that detects incapacitation of the pilot, calls ATC, declares an emergency, and automatically chooses the best airport to land at. Lands the plane, that's like 5 things, stops the plane, and shuts off the engine. That is absolutely remarkable. Emergency only, and it calls ATC, so you're not going to cheat your way into having the thing land the airplane without getting in a lot of trouble. That is absolutely fantastic. A huge boon for the safety of general aviation. Hey, we've been watching the Blue Origin's high-profile protest of the $3 billion NASA contract to SpaceX for the system to land astronauts on the moon again. Well, the U.S. Court of Federal Claims has denied Amazon flat out. The last action, as you might recall, was Amazon called NASA unsafe. And it looks like things accelerated after that. Judge rules, boom, it's over. Thanks a lot for your interest in aviation safety. Take a hike. They don't even teach spins anymore in your private pilot certificate. You don't get to spin. You talk about it, but somewhere along the line from when I learned to fly, then you don't get that. Spinning is an interesting thing. It's quite a feeling, quite a dynamic. For those of you who do the aerobatics, it's pretty fun. I'm going to put a link down below for a King Air that accidentally stalls while dropping off some parachutists, and it goes into a spin. What's amazing is the shots from the parachutists watch the King Air go into the spin and eventually recover. It's quite fantastic video. Check it out. And while you're checking that out, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Smash that like button. push the bell if you want to know about other videos that are coming out, and we'll see you next time. Six